Alright, let's look at the homework 3.5, problem number 9. Alright, so we have two curves given. One is a parabola, y equals cx squared. And the other one is probably an ellipse, x squared plus 2y squared is equal to k. And we're trying to see if they are orthogonal trajectories of each other. Right? So that means that whenever they intersect perpendicularly. Right? So let's look at that. Alright, so in order to check to see two lines are perpendicular, if you have, say, two slopes, for example, M1 and M2. And remember that if they're perpendicular, slopes is always negative reciprocal of the other guy. So we can write it this way, right? Another way would be, this is equivalent. We can just multiply both sides by, say, M2. So if you multiply the slopes together, M1 times M2, you always get negative 1, right? This is probably a good condition to work with. All right, so you have two curves. So let's try to find the slope, right? Slope can be found by taking a derivative. So we are looking at the derivative. So we take the derivative of the first guy. So dy over dx is going to be, obviously, c is just a number. Right, put 2 in front, x, then reduce the power by 1. So you have 2cx. Right, so we can think of this as, say, m1. Right, so this is the first slope of the first one. And for the second one, we use the implicit differentiation. So we take the derivative of the left-hand side, which is x squared plus 2y squared. And then we take the derivative of the right-hand side, k. All right, so this is going to give us, right, derivative of x squared would be 2x, and derivative of 2y squared would be 4y times dy over dx, and derivative of a constant k is 0, because derivative of constant is always 0. Alright, then we can just solve this equation for dy over dx. So by subtracting 2x, we can move this guy over to the other side. So we get the 4y dy over dx is equal to negative 2x. Right? Then we can just simply divide through by 4y to isolate dy over dx. Right? So this is going to be negative 2x over 4y. Right? Which we can simplify. 2 and 4 cancel out, 2 left over. So we get the negative x over 2y. Alright, so we can call this guy M2. Right? So this is the slope of the second curve. Right? So what we want to do is we're going to compute M1 times M2 to see if we can get negative 1. If we do, then those two guys are perpendicular to each other. Right? So we have M1 times M2 is going to be, M1 is 2cx times M2 is negative x over 2y. Right? So we got that. And then we can just try to simplify as much as possible. So we have, let's say, 2's here, cancel with the 2 on the bottom. Alright, then I guess what we get is, let's see, there's a negative sign here. So we have a negative sign. Right? There is c here. So we put c here. And there's x here and x there. That'll be x squared. So I'll put x squared. Right? Then divided by, there's y on the bottom. So I'll put y there. Alright. Then you can see that here if you look at the first equation, so first equation, we can y and the cx squared is the same thing. So here we can put instead negative, right? Cx squared is same as y, and you have y. So we can cancel those guys to get negative 1. Right? So which tells you that they're orthogonal trajectories. Right? So to answer the question, yes, the given family of curves are orthogonal trajectories, because every time they intersect perpendicularly, right, or orthogonally. That's another word. All right, then let's see. So we want to see if we can find the equation. So first one, there's no parabola there, so that's not going to be it. All right, and it's going to be the second one or third one. Fourth one, there's no parabola there. All right, so we have to see if this guy or that guy. All right, then maybe we can look at the intercepts. All right, so if you look at the intercepts of x squared plus 2y squared is equal to k. All right, so let's look at this. X squared plus 2y squared is equal to k, right? So if you want to find the x intercept, we set y equals 0, right? Which means that the x squared is equal to k, which means that x is going to be equal to plus or minus square root of k. Right? And then if you want to find the y-intercept, we set the x equals 0. Then you get the 2y squared is equal to k, right? Which means that the y squared is equal to k over 2, and which means that the y is plus or minus square root of k over 2, right? So it looks like y-intercept is going to be magnitude-wise smaller than x, right? Which means that it's going to be longer sideways than the vertically. So which picture would represent that? Right, so it looks like so y is going to be shorter, right? Y is going to be shorter and x is going to be longer. So you can see that this ellipse is wider than the taller. So this one is taller. So we can see that this is going to be the right picture. All right, let's try to submit for testing. All right, I came back and looks like we got both of these guys correctly. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.